Hello and welcome back to the Honor Space and another edition of Raw out of 10. It's a big show today. Punk continued his quest to avenge World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, as well as much more on the show. But we did kick things off with CM Punk, who drew a huge ovation from the fans in Quebec City and wasted little time addressing Seth Rollins in the height of the century from SummerSlam, admitting he felt like he let the fans down. He vowed disappointment from the event at MetLife Stadium, only fueled him to regain the title, and then reiterated his hatred for Rollins, who he claimed was trying to beat Punk. LA Knight interrupted to a big ovation and joined his fellow babyface in the ring. He said Punk had been screwed and deserved to be champion, but warned him against being involved in his business after costing the megastar his opportunity. The situation deteriorated with the competitors trading bars as Paul Heyman interrupted. Back and forth ensued with some great heat for Heyman before challenging a match, putting the two bronze against Punk and Knight laid down for the main event. So basically a decent way to set up the main event, an intriguing storyline there too. Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee and El Grande Americano were then involved in a mid match with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee taking on Mysterio and El Grande Americano, building towards Triple Mania, where they'll face off against El Hijo for the AAA title. And before that, Dirty Dom and Americano partnered here. The heels weathered an early storm and isolated Styles, working him over in their corner. A hot tag to Lee sparked a momentary comeback, but the heels re-established control. Later in the match, a much needed tag to the P1 brought Styles and Lee back to life and instigated a wild KO conclusion. With the action breaking down, Mysterio slotted Americano's trademark metal plate into the mask, and he had done several times in the match. He had butted Styles with it to allow his partner to pick up the victory. I think it's pretty cool the way they're building up AAA. And this was a really fun match as well. Bit of a screwy finish, but nonetheless, I think it worked quite well. 7 out of 10 from me. Sami Zayn then enjoyed a hero's welcome when he took on Rusev in a high-stakes match. Before the match, Zayn discussed the potential World Heavyweight title match with Adam Pearce, who told him a win would give him something to think about. The underdog from the underground overcame the ferocity of his opponent's attack, including an overwhelming power advantage to earn the win. However, Solo Sikoa and the rest of the Bloodline were often seen putting Zayn to the floor and beating him down in retaliation for the upset win over Sikoa. The disqualification brought an end to the match. From there, Sheamus appeared out of nowhere, rocking Rusev with jumping in, bringing him into the crowd. Get 7 out of 10 for me. It's a fun match up to that point. Zayn Bloodline story could be interesting. I think we're keeping Zayn away for a bigger opportunity maybe later on. I think the Bloodline could work. So 7 out of 10. We then got Io Sky against Roxanne Perez. Sky declined back up from her former Damage Control teammates, and in the ring, Perez showed a fight, dominating a portion of the match and putting Sky on the defensive. The lengthy contest continued with Raquel interfering on behalf of her Judgment Day teammate, but Sky fended off and focused on her opponent. She rolled late and appeared to be en route to victory before a block moonsault and more to interference from Rodriguez allowed Perez to attempt the exposed turnbuckle. Oscar and Zayn interjected against Sky's witching, and a distraction allowed Perez to score the cheap victory. So we can see that's where that's going. Tension. I think that could work well, to be honest. Gives Roxanne Perez a potential title shot as well in the future. So I thought this all worked quite nicely. 6 out of 10. Women's IC champ Becky Lynch entered Monday's title defence against Maxine Dupree with an abundance of confidence. It almost cost her, though. The man controlled early and often overwhelmingly inexperienced competitor, and looking every bit the all-time great competitor along the way. But her cockiness almost proved coxy as Dupree managed to come back and tease an upset. This was cut short, and Lynch ultimately tapped her out with a disarmer for the win and a cheap shot to Natalya to put an exclamation point on it. 5 out of 10. Nothing really too major there, but Lynch looking good against two competitors you could look pretty solid against. So worked well. Before the night's main event, a candid and vulnerable video package featuring Bayley Ed. She discussed her status as a role model and the numbness she currently feels. Backstage, Rhea Ripley approached Io Sky and warned her about the Kabuki Warriors amid some tensions between the former teammates. The genius of Sky responded by telling Mami to stay out of it. So two intriguing little angles in the women's division there, and I'm intrigued to see where they all go. Before we got Punk and Knight taking on Breaker and Reed in the main event. The heels earned control early, isolating Punk from his partner. They worked over the former world champ, cutting the ring off from him and using their size and strength to wear him down. A hot tag tonight, though, turned the tide in the babyface's favour momentarily, but Breaker launched himself off the ring apron, clotheslining the megastar over the commentary table to regain the upper hand. The fan favourites recovered, though, with Punk receiving a tag several minutes later that jump-started his team. Unfortunately, Rollins reared his head despite claiming to have left the arena earlier in the show during a DQ. The Vision beat down Punk and Knight before Jey Uso made the stage. Rollins and Co bailed before Adam Pearce made a fatal four-way with Punk, Uso and Knight Clash in Paris. The heels responded by laying waste to babyfaces to close the show. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. It's basically all set up for that. No issue with it, and it's going to be an intriguing match. When we're going to get a Rollins Punk one-on-one match down the line remains to be seen. But I think this does kind of make sense. I'm intrigued to see where it all goes. So it gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Overall, Raw this week gets a 5 out of 10 from me. I thought, yeah, it probably wasn't the worst episode of Raw you've ever seen, but it also wasn't the most consequential either. Some intriguing announcements like that Fatal 4-Way, which I'm intrigued by, but yeah, I just don't think it will be a Raw that really lives too long in the memory, I can't lie. So yeah, gets a 5 out of 10 from me.
That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.